We started, back probably about in 1986, 87, when, we really started getting involved with the standards as far as, hard hats, safety glasses, rubber insulating gloves, stuff like that. So probably about 1987 or 1986, right in that area. I was working with Wayne Engel. Wayne had a real commitment to safety, and thus, we always had a goal just getting our guys home safely. And it started out personal protective equipment back in the 80s. We didn't really probably wear everything we should have worn at the time. And so we really got involved with standards and looking at standards. What do we wear? How do we wear it? And really got a lot more involved with the OSHA standards. We had a large job in Hannibal, Missouri, and it was right after the 2000 edition of the NFPA 70 came out. And as I was reading that, I was getting into terminology I'd never heard of before, arc flash hazard analysis and calories per centimeter squared, and really didn't understand any of it. And they had flame resistant clothing in there, so started it out. I didn't know where to buy flame resistant clothing, so I called the fire department to ask them what they wore, and they led me to Workrite, a company out in California that had supplied flame-resistant clothing to the petrochemical industry. And so, I found out they did have flame-resistant materials, which kind of led me to West Tex in Chicago, and they made Endura Ultrasoft. And so when that standard came out, the 2000 edition of NFPA 70, we purchased 500 pair of coveralls, and we started with coveralls and face shields. We'd already been wearing the rubber insulating gloves. That's something we'd implemented, back, probably 10 years prior to that. We started with the rubber insulating gloves, so that wasn't anything really new for us. But the flame resistant clothing was. I think that committee was first formed in '79, and then it had just grown and grown and grown. But I think it was the 2000 edition that really introduced terminology that we really hadn't seen before in our industry. I remember sitting down with our management group and telling our guys, hey, our industry's changing, and we're going to have to adapt to the changes in our industry. So it was just, it was over a period of time that we started implementing policies, procedures, safety programs, and personal protective equipment programs, really to address, some of the things that we'd seen. And I remember as a young man working at a large manufacturing facility where I'd actually witnessed an arc flash and watched an individual get blown all the way across the room, and his shirt and stuff had caught on fire, and he literally had skin hanging off of him. And I'll never forget that. And then seeing some of the other incidents, throughout my career where individuals had been burned with third-degree burns, non-curable burns, and ended up at in a hospital in a burn unit. And I wasn't understanding why this was happening or how this was happening. And so it just made me read more and more and more. And how do we figure this out? How do we get our guys home safely? So it just all came from trying to stay in tune with the standards, and then gear our folks up for the type of work that we were doing. But when I first started doing the training, I thought we were the normal electrical contractor. I didn't look at us doing anything different than I thought everybody else in the country was doing. And then I realized when I got out there that we weren't the normal electrical contractor, that none of these folks had really been exposed to these standards and the types of personal protective equipment that we were wearing. What I was taking for granted that we did this every day, this is no big deal. What I found was a lot of those folks just weren't aware of the standards. And I think as we got involved with a lot of different facilities and training a lot of different folks, what I realized was there was a need, to help educate people in the standards and try to engineer a lot of the hazard out from the electrical systems that we were working on and stuff. And so it took a while, but I started seeing a lot of the companies really implement these programs, really start wearing the personal protective equipment, and we know a few instances where guys did have the stuff on and they walked away from it and they weren't burned. I guess we take it real seriously that if we can help get one person home safely, that's my job. And so, as you probably know, I don't feel safety is a trade secret, and that's something that I'd like to share and help other folks come to the same conclusion that we came to, that you can protect people in the electrical industry with engineering the hazards out and then providing personal protective equipment for the items that we can engineer out.